Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early January 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for our beautiful Taurus friends in early January as we start a brand new calendar year? And yeah, let's see what energies, messages, insights we could take a little peek at. And we're going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus. Early January 2026. We're going to hope to start the year off on a good foot, my friends. Let's see. I think it's going to be a good year. That's what my intuition tells me. Okay. All right. So this energy, it feels a little heavy, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. There are positives about this card, and it does remind me uh, quite a bit of the Ten of Wands within the tarot deck. And I'm sure if you watch these readings, you do know that this card does come out from time to time. It's not one of my more common cards to show up, but there's a weight to it. There's a heftiness to it. There's meaning to it, if that makes sense. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the January subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So we see this individual, looks like they're on a platform of some kind, and they have another person literally on their back. So I always say that's Ten of Wands energy if I've ever seen it. And the Ten of Wands is that picture of like some dude carrying like a huge bundle of big wands. So there's a weight to this. Now, the good thing about this type of energy, it could be determination. Everyone knows that when Tauruses set their mind to something, they're going to follow through, whether it takes a day, a year, or 10. When a Taurus makes a decision, there's follow through to it. And that's a good thing about this card, because it's like no matter how heavy or how much weight something has, I'm just going to keep pushing. So I love the willpower. I love the no quit. But at the same time, this card just can be very tiring. It could be exhausting. So watch your energy levels in this time. You might feel a little more low energy. I always say when it comes to the body itself, watch out for any area like the neck, back, and spine. You might be holding a lot of tension there. So make sure you're not burning the candle at both ends when this card is here. And now for some of you, you might just feel like you're putting the whole world on your shoulders, right? All right, well, if they're not going to do it, I'll do it myself. That's how this energy presents to me. So I'm just going to let it chill right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for Taurus. And while we get this shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was an intriguing one. It was different. The reading was titled "They Are Watching," and to me, it felt like there was some sort of surveillance. So I don't know if you just are getting more attention than you normally do, more eyes on you. Just because you're being observed doesn't make it bad, doesn't mean it has to be creepy, but there was like some sort of observation happening. Now, for some of you, maybe it was something that you're keeping an eye on. Maybe Spirit wants you to keep an eye on a specific situation. But to me, it's like there's more eyes on you than you might think. So we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? It's all about your awareness, my good friends. Let's get it going here. 3 cards for Taurus in early January. What do we have? What do we have for Taurus? It's being very specific so far. There we go. I'll take it. Okay, 7 of Wands. There's that determination showing up that we were seeing within this card. So the theme is still in the mix. Let's get 1 more out, or 2 more out here. Pardon me. Get him tucked back in by this amethyst. Maybe that'll help him chill out a little bit. Let's get a couple of cards out here. What do we got for Taurus? You know, I like the 7 of Wands. All right, we got the beautiful High Priestess. She did show up in reverse, but remember, my top row, I only read uprights. I do reverses when I clarify. So we got the beautiful High Priestess, a little mysterious type of energy. Let's get 1 more, and we'll start piecing this together. What do we got for Taurus? Thank you. All right, I mean, that's the total opposite energy to the High Priestess. We have the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth showing up here. This is definitely an energy that seems very clear-headed and cut through, and it like cuts through. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. At first look, first glance, we do have a mixture of elements happening, which I think is a good thing. If we have like all water or all fire, then it could be a little too intense. You have fire, water, and air. That's a nice mixture of stuff. There is a lot of internal facing energy, but when we see fire, that's the realm of action. The actions we take, the actions other people take, energy levels, vitality. Uh, it could just be our motivation for stuff as well. The only downside to fire is that it could be a little unpredictable. Like it could take a quick left on us. And we have the water in the center. That's the realm of feelings and emotions, creativity, our internal world, matters of the heart, personal relationships. That could all be in play when we have water. The downside to water is that it's up in the air. So for some Tauruses, there could be something you're dealing with that's a little up in the air, something that's not very predictable. That makes sense. And then on the back end, we have the swords, the logical mind, very pragmatic, very strategic, sharp. Like this energy knows what it's doing. The downside, and it can be communication, of course, but the downside to swords, sometimes they could be a little detached, sometimes they could be a little cold or even mean. So you see what I mean? Like these are two internals where it's like we have the heart and mind, then we have the action and energy levels. So we're seeing a few different things. Let's go through and start building it out piece by piece. Position number one, the Seven of Wands, has a lot in common with that very first oracle that I was speaking about, where it reminded me of the Ten of Wands. And we see this individual, they're like up on a ridge, kind of fending a bunch of people off. So, in the good sense, it's very determined. When I say something, that's what I do. I do what I say and I say what I mean. And if these words come out of my mouth, you better believe I'm going to follow through with it. That's the vibe I always get with the Seven of Wands. Doesn't matter how hard something is, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I love the no quit. So for some Tauruses, maybe there's certain things you're committing to where it's like, I will see this through. And I think that's very admirable. Now, the downside to the Seven of Wands, it can be confrontational. Sometimes it can represent problems. Sometimes it can represent situations where I feel cornered, I feel trapped, I feel like my back's against the wall. I feel it's like the world versus me. So hopefully none of you were feeling that. That is the downside and can be confrontational. So we do want to take a close look at it. I love the determination though. And that's the one thing that's shining through, especially since we had that very first oracle. Now, while we get this Seven of Wands tucked back in by this amethyst, we move right to the center to what is similar to like a void type of energy. We have the beautiful High Priestess, and she is the matron of psychics, intuitives, and tarot readers. She connects to Pisces classically, so you might be connected to one. I give it to all water signs, so I think Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, it could be any of them, but she is very quiet. Now, she does function in a more subtle energy where it's the realm of feelings and emotions, and my intuition is telling me something. So often when I see her, your gut instincts could be heightened, your intuition could be trying to direct you or tell you something. You could be having a lot of funny, funky, vivid dreams when she shows up as well. Hyper intuitive with the High Priestess. But the downside, and it's not always a downside, but she is very mysterious. She is very hush hush. She knows a lot of things, but she's not sharing. She's being very secretive in how she moves. And again, it could just be the unexpected or surprising, but it's just very hush hush about it. So there's a big privacy to this High Priestess that we'll want to look at, because again, it doesn't have to be always a bad thing, but it could be frustrating sometimes. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth. If there's any card that could balance off all this quiet mystery, it's this one. As you heard, I called it the Sword of Truth, and a lot of other readers call it that as well. Now, the good thing about all aces, they represent offers, they represent opportunities. It's a fresh, new energy. So whether it's a new beginning or something brand spanking new, there's like a youthfulness to it, a vibrance to it. So I really like this card quite a bit. Now, the difference with the Sword of Truth, it does lean more towards clarity of mind and clarity of communication. So this does tie in heavily to talks and messages and internal processing of things. It could be very good for planning things out and strategy. But the downside to the Ace of Swords, it could be very harsh. It does show up sometimes when things are serious, when I'm taking something seriously or I'm being very firm about something. So we do want to look and see, like, all right, are we getting the good aspect of this Ace of Swords, or are we getting like the stern, serious, no games, no nonsense type of vibe? For some of you, there could be certain things you're trimming back or pruning, so to speak. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Taurus. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our good friends? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Seven of Wands. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Seven of Wands time. What do we got for our good friends? Really want to see what's going on back here. We'll get there. Okay. This doesn't feel like a lot of fun. This actually feels like a lot of work. So we have the Three of Cups in reverse underneath it. I will say this for some of you: watch out for any kind of funky group dynamics. And I don't always go third party, third party, third party whenever I see the Three of Cups. That's not really my style. But when I see the Seven of Wands with the Three of Cups in reverse, it's like there could be like a group dynamic or someone making something more complicated than it needs to be. So, like, if you're just in your own lane, doing your own thing, minding your own business, this might be something that you might want to avoid. There could be something that pops up, or you could potentially be pulled into something that might throw you off of your track, if that makes sense. Now, the Three of Cups in reverse is an energy that could also overdo it sometimes. So, like when I see the Seven of Wands with the Three of Cups, it is that no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more Mr. Nice Gal type of energy. So I'm not sure. And very early when this card first popped out, I was like, all right, this feels like more work than fun. So there could be certain situations you might go through or that might pop up in this time where, no, this is supposed to be fun. Like, you ever have a hobby or something that you do because you enjoy, but then it becomes monotonous? It's like, all right, it's like it's turned into another job. That's even happened to me with like certain video games I've played, where it's like I used to play this because it was fun. Now it feels like a job. Like, so there's that energy that seems to be drying out. Watch out for anything like that in this time. We're going to see what else shows up. So yeah, those are the main things. Watch out for the all work no play, but also watch out for funky group things that you might get pulled into. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll see what the High Priestess has. And remember, these could be totally separate things, totally separate situations, or it could all be the same thing. It depends on your story, right? Let's see what the High Priestess has. Let's see what this hush hush quiet energy has for us. Huh. Okay. Death card in the upright. Don't get nervous about the death card. It can either represent a change or a close of a cycle. I will tell you that. Big Scorpio vibe. So if you're connected to Scorpio or have Scorpio placements, they're showing up extra heavy right smack in the center of this spread. Now, the death card, aside from the whole Scorpio thing, to me, I think of it as a phoenix rising when I see it. So I think of change, I think of transformation, I think of metamorphosis. And of course, it can represent the close of a cycle of some kind, or a karmic cycle. So under the High Priestess, this is either an unexpected or surprising change or an ending of some kind. Now, not every ending is bad. Sometimes for that brand new beginning, we need something to close. So for some Tauruses, there could be a chapter where you're closing the page on it right before you open up the next one. That's like an energy I'm picking up here as well. So whether it's work related things, career, personal relationships, it could be various things where it's like, or it's even self improvement too, where it's like, that's the old me, here's the new me. Like, you ever hear new year, new me? That's kind of what I'm picking up here, where it's like, all right, this isn't fun anymore. Okay, let's make a shift or a change. So that's what I'm picking up in the center. Either it's an ending or a closing of some kind that's a little surprising, or it's just a change, a transformation. And not all change is bad. Sometimes it could be heavy, though. Let's keep going. Let's see what the Ace of Swords has. Because remember, we're only halfway through the story here. So why is the Ace in the mix? Taurus, please. What do we got? Thank you. And then this takes off like a rocket. This energy takes off like an absolute rocket. So we have the Eight of Wands underneath this Ace of Swords. Wow. Wow. Totally different from front to back. Like, once this metamorphosis happens, it's like, all right, the energy is totally changed here for one reason or another. Now, these two cards are absolutely connected to communication. That's one thing we'll say. So I have a couple of different messages here on the back end. One, this could be an explosive message or talk, one that kind of pops in out of nowhere or gets intense rather quickly. So watch out for that. Watch out for miscommunications or things that just intensify and get the blood boiling a little bit. Like it's getting me hot here. Eight of Wands is also action. So it's like, all right, once I close this chapter, the new one gets off to like a running start. So yeah, sure, could this be action? Yeah. But to me it's like once this closes out, all the energy goes this other way. For some Tauruses, you might have your attention in a lot of different places. You might have your focus in a lot of different places. To me, it's like when you withdraw your focus from one area, another area gains momentum, if that makes sense. And same could go for cross watchers too. So it's like, all right, you withdraw your energy from here and double down here. So spirit might want you to do that. Like maybe check and see what you're putting your energy into, what you're paying attention to. Take it from one place and double it down in another. I hope that makes sense because that's how it feels to me. We're doubling down effort here on the back end. Either that or it's that talk that we were talking about. Now, could it be tied to this energy? For sure. But it could also be something totally different. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadows. So yours is very nuanced this week. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Seven of Wands with the Three Cups in reverse. I did say watch out for getting pulled into any funky group things, third party dynamics, like because there could be a potential for you to get pulled in if you're not careful about it, especially with this conversation on the back end. But there's also this energy where it's like this should be fun, but it feels like work. So something you may have enjoyed at some point that's starting to get a little dry, or I don't want to say it's boring, but it's like I feel like this is work. Like this should be fun. Moving to the center, we have the High Priestess with the Death card in the upright. So unexpected, surprising change, possibly could be also a close or ending of some kind as well. But once the energy stops flowing this way, it doubles down in the next because we have the Ace of Swords with the Eight of Wands. Now, could this be an explosive talk or offer? Absolutely. But it's like once this energy closes, this one picks up double the steam. So it's like we're taking energy from here and we're putting it all in one place. We're consolidating energy and building momentum. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below as my cards fly everywhere. It's a beautiful way to support the channel and have much love for all my channel members. Let me grab this one. It flew up to the other side of my desk. There we go. That means it's time to pull some cards. You get a blooper. So if you made it to this point, you got a little mini Kyle blooper. I'm going to leave it in there. Okay, so we do have one of your power cards showing up in the shadows. We have the beautiful Empress, big Venus energy. So the fact that we have one of your power cards in the shadows is actually a very good thing, even though we're looking at the shadow aspect of it. Now, I would say this, watch out for anything revolving around self-confidence or self-worth. Okay, so be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up about things. I know a lot of you probably hold yourself to a high standard, but when we get a power card in the shadows, it's Spirit saying be a little more kind and understanding to yourself, right? Or don't beat yourself up about something. Be realistic. That's a big vibe I'm picking up. But the downside of the Empress is sometimes it's an energy that can feel a little smothered. So you know that energy we were picking up in the very beginning where it's like something should be fun, but it feels like work, or something should be enjoyable, but it's not. This is like the shadow side of the Empress, where it's like this should be blessings and abundance, but why does it feel so heavy? That's the vibe I'm picking up here. So watch out for anything like that, Taurus. We're going to put her down right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the January subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or if you'd like to see what 2026 has in store for you, you can book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The January schedule's already up, so you could go check it out and see what's available. It's going quick, but for the January subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Everyday Witches Tarot. It's absolutely adorable and is great for readers of all skill levels. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments from today's reading which card spoke to you the most. Even if the reading didn't quite hit, which card was giving you those warm and fuzzies or really caught your attention. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.